Hello, everybody. The red button says it's live. So I am saying that I'm alive, you're alive, so we're live. Hey, how you doing, everyone? Thank you for being part of the journey. I just invoke great favor upon us all and upon you. Thank you, all you moderators, you beautiful souls, you, and all the rest of us that are just sitting on the bus. We're having a good time all the way. So, how you doing? It's Thursday. It's a good day, isn't it? I think it is. The theme today is be nice. It's in you, so be nice. It's not that hard. I don't understand why all the anger here going around. Don't understand why is it so hard just to be nice. I don't know. You know, have learned something when you're around here long enough and you're fortunate enough to enjoy the full ticket. Um, it's better to edify. It's better to uplift. It's better to encourage than it is to tear down. And we should learn our manners once again. If you don't have anything nice to say, shut the blank up. We don't want to hear. You should always put forth, regardless sometimes, if you don't even like the person, maybe, what is so hard to sending a kind word, to be encouraged, to make feel worth? Why do people get power in making people feel worthless? Doesn't make sense. And I want to say this because I enjoyed JD. We're going to have him back on. We're going to have his friend. I'll get into that later when we get things firmed up. But let me ask a simple question. Where do masters come from? Anyone care to answer the question? Where do masters come from? You see, we live in a different society and a different culture. There was a time in America, and dare say in Europe, where the trades were more honored than anything else. And if you wanted to come in as a painter, as a sculptor, as a worker of rocks, there's just 100 different trades. No one comes into a trade as a master. We all start out as novices, greenhorns, apprentices. And once you have passed the initiation of apprenticeship, you come into the club of being a journeyman. A journeyman is a level that many reach, but even fewer reach to become masters, master carpenters, master painters. I mean, you can just go through the whole thing. And my point is today, in America, because of the bigotry and the biasness towards the occult, we don't have the mystery schools. They exist, but they're not easily found. And when I find young people who have made the decision to follow their gifting, their modality, they deserve, as elders, the rest of the people, I'm beginning to understand you're very immature. You don't understand these things. But as an elder, it is our responsibility and duty to encourage those souls to continue. And if a person pursues the path of a healer, a shamanic healer, age and experience is not what counts. It's what's in the soul, the heart. And I applaud all the youth. Find the occult in you. And if you so desire to become a wise woman, a witch, if you decide to become a wizard, a magician, whatever it is, you must understand we cannot put the word of discouragement. That's been the problem. So there you go. Take it for what it is, but I happen to believe in that. And some of the nonsense that was put down, they're gone. I mean, that's not what we're about here. We speak favor in every situation. If we're being attacked, if no matter what it is, we speak favor of the situation. And we learn and we move and we grow. So there we go. And you're right, David. The occult is just hidden knowledge. The brainwashing has been so thorough. And, unfortunately, you got Hollywood that puts, they just feed into that same paranoia. And, there you go. All right, tonight, happy birthday to everyone's having anniversary. Way to go. I just speak favor over you. May it be a joyous, fun-filled day. Tonight, the Steiger Perspective. I'm going to be talking about the chaos factor. Thank you. Yes, infinite frequencies. Yeah. He's a delightful soul. Great energy. It's going to go far. And we can say, hi, JD, we knew you went. Tonight, artistfirst.com, 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain, and check it out. So how many of you have these? Something you might want to really start thinking about. Not fear here. Listen, my wife is a nurse. She's responsible for many, many lives. And, they're telling us whether this is hype, whether this is contrived, whether this is real. Wisdom says to be a Boy Scout, be prepared. So I do encourage you to have some of these respirators. By the way, you need the ones that say N95. Let me put that up here close so everybody can see that. You see that? N95. That is the one you should be getting. They're becoming very expensive. There's a run on them. So just something to think about. Who knows? Just got to be prepared. You should have at least a 30-day supply of food in your house. And it isn't that expensive to do it. Let me tell you something. And there's probably going to be a run on them, I'm sure, but pinto beans. Every household should have at least 25 pounds of pinto beans. Pinto beans will take you through when you ain't got nothing at all. So anyway, think about it. Just putting it out there. I got notes everywhere. Hey, let's see what the Palladians have to say. I like these cards. You got great thought-provoking statements on it. Let's see what this one says. You have not been disconnected from source. You have not been kept in the dark. You have not been cast aside. You have not been forgotten. And you are not lost. You have only been distracted from the real reality by the illusion. Isn't that the truth? I mean, seriously, that is the truth. Was a place where I was having a discussion with a group of enlightened individuals, and we were talking about the fact that how our world is constructed as an illusion. Commercials. Commercials are totally illusionary. You walk into a new company and they have, typically they're going to give you an employee manual and you're going to get the mission statement. It's where you are supposed to join the mission. So our whole life is conditioned. We're conditioned from the very kind of get-go, for those who are fortunate, and there's others who haven't, of what a family is supposed to be. The interesting thing about the construct of family is that it never meets the expectation. You know, well, I'm family, by God, I'm going to take, but then this is the same Yahoo that says, well, I'm going to kick his ass, it's interesting, the illusion. I contend we have been taught wrongly on the process of birth and death. I think it's reversed. I think we're actually born into death and we die into life. I know that sounds interesting. Joyce says, I know you're going to love adding the one to your library, Dictionary of Scripture and Myths by, okay, I'll check that out. Okay, well, check it out. So, yeah. So, I'm trying to read the chat room and it's going by very quickly. So let's get into the theme today. Oh, I know this is going to get some people rattled, but it needs to be pointed out because, again, the theme here is really the busting the illusion. So I said the 2% factor, correct? Well, let's ponder this before we really move too far down the road. So that is a human on the right. That's a human on the left. You're saying, Well, I mean, it's species named. It's a chimpanzee. But it's more human than it is a gorilla or an ape, any of the subspecies of that genome. 2%. 2% is the only difference between a chimpanzee and a Homo sapien. And the chimpanzee is more human than it is to the gorilla. 2%. Think about that. 2% is all it takes for change. And this holds so true in so many areas that we fail sometimes to understand. Our heritage, our ancestry is becoming more and more known. And as one anthropologist was discussing, that today we're realizing our family tree, throw it out. I mean, as the guy said, it's so embedded in chaos that it's a mystery as to how we came about here. We know some things. We're learning things that why the Neanderthals didn't make it, why the Cro-Magnons, the other, genuses of man. And we are unique. I mean, we really are. Now, there may have been something else before us. I don't know what that is because I don't have any reference for it. I have an imagination, but, well, thank you. Who was that made the donation? I'll have to get up there and see that. So allow me a second. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Appreciate it. Hey, Miss Trina, how you doing, hon? You feeling better? Been sending you healing vibrations. And I keep thinking, yeah, that went down the wrong path, that this spark of divinity, I don't think the Neanderthals had it. I don't think the original Homo sapiens had it. I'm working on the thought, and it's just a thought, that this divinity, whatever it is truly much, much more recent. And help and follow my logic here. So ghost hunting is becoming a career path. Who'd have thought? I mean, it's amazing. In my 20s, had I known that I could have made a career out of ghost hunting? Whoa. But anyway, it's showing the dynamics that are changing, right? Well, I've never seen any show done on this subject. So I'm writing notes, and so I'll share it with our family here. I believe there's an afterlife. I believe we don't know the story. I think there may be versions of it, but yeah, it's really something. It's kind of like chocolate. If you've never tasted chocolate, how do you describe it? Right? So I have a sense that there are those who get lost here. It's evident of that. There's evidence of the technology that we're getting better at it. We can track the spirits. We can track those who have crossed over. We're learning how to begin to catch their frequencies, their vibrations. Our instrumentation is becoming better in the light spectrums, where we can now, and I believe I've just ordered it, that there is this laser projector you can get now, and it will identify if there is a spirit next to you. I think we're going to get better at this. Now, here's my point. So when you look at Homo sapiens heritage, and we see these aberrations in the family tree, my question is, well, when the Neanderthals, how about when the Denisovans died? Did they have a spirit? Did they have a soul? Did they go into a place in the afterworld? If you believe in reincarnation, then I guess at some point in time, they got a gene upgrade. Can spirits really get an upgrade? In other words, if you're a Neanderthal spirit, how could you become a Homo sapien spirit? But those Neanderthals had a belief system. They had a culture. They were advanced. So are they stuck here too? Is this some of the things that we pick up on EVPs? I've captured one 2015, March. It's in my archives. I mean, it sounds like hell itself is opening up, but that's a false creation. Hell doesn't exist. But anyway, so is that what we're hearing? People believe in some circles that, well, if you were born here, you die here, you stay here. Well, if that's the case, how far back does that go? Does it only go back 10,000 years? Does it go back 1,000,000 years? We're so narrow-minded in our views. And let's see. Why would a spirit or even a soul be restricted to a species? Well, Twisted Isby, there's a good question. So ETs, they exist, off-worlders. There's other species walking here that are not human. So when they die, do they get, you see, that's what's not being discussed here. Do they stay their own species? I mean, when you die, the only thing you're going to have relation to is the fact that you were a Homo sapien sapien, a human, a hybrid, but no less a human. And the fact that our status as a human is very recent as well. All I am thinking is that I hope there's no one screwing in the genetics on the other side, you know? Screwing with spirits, screwing with souls. Oh, maybe that's what some of these demiurges, these traps, the soul traps they talk about. Wouldn't that be a form of genetic spirit manipulation? I don't know. Just asking. Food for thought. We're so limited. This discussion I had was kind of delightful because we were talking, we all came out of the Christian brainwashing, and someone was saying, you know, I watched your show where you were talking about, you know, the fact of defying heaven and then defying hell. And he said him and his wife started laughing because they realized that when they were in practicing the religion, heaven was always ambiguous. It was kind of like, well, you know, you got kind of this throne thing. You got this, you know, it's like, what is it? But hell, oh brother, not are we really good at telling people to go there, while we can actually do it in our, well, I hope you just burn in hell, you know, you're going to get your punishment. And that is really the mindset, mean-spirited. You know, if you ain't got nothing good to say, well, that crowd doesn't know that. It's interesting. This week we have dealt with my visitation, and you know, it's amazing. I listen, folks, I received a lot of them, but one particularly that the person, and I don't know what blah 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 at Gmail is because it ain't a name. It was just a long list of characters. But said, you really did have a visitation. I know I did, but the person went on to write, they said there were 3 things that you wrote about that it went right over the public's head. They didn't even pick up on it. He said, I don't know if it was he or she. It's like, let me feel how that felt. But yeah. And I think a lot of people are. Listen, JD and I had the delightful conversation. I want to re-pick up on a couple of points. I think there's a shift that's happened. And I don't think a lot of people are handling it real good. I think it's having, I think it's going to come to this point. What you are in here is going to be affected by the vibrations, the intensity, graviton waves, whatever it is, it's intensifying and it's showing up. But I suspect, as I read in some of the emails, thank you for writing to me, by the way, that you've had similar visits. So I don't know what they are. I don't know. I'm getting another person who is more of the Palladian point of view. Um, I'd like to hear that. You know, they have a history of, you know, channeling. I happen to think that they're probably here. I think that there's so much in this area that can become really confusing. And I'm a software guy. And I always like to put things into their separate little data silos because I can network my silos no matter how complicated the algorithm is. And by doing that, it allows, for me anyway, a way of saying, okay, this is new. I don't reject it. I don't rile against it. I don't say, well, you're wrong about that. And no, I used to do that. You don't win friends and influence higher ups with that kind of attitude. You know, if you disagree, just disagree. Again, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. But anyway, so there's something going on. I don't know. Is full disclosure coming? I think it's already here, to be honest with you. Okay, got some other cool things I want to share with you. Bruce McDonald, we're going to get Bruce back on, sent me a PDF, and I had the other PDF of it. If y'all want this, you really should. This is The Greatest Story Never Told by Lana Cantrell. This is a scientific inquiry into the evidence of the fall of man from a higher civilization and antiquity. Now, it's really kind of cool when you look at the cover. Folks, this is a fascinating read. And I'm just pulling my way down there. Let me, in fact, go down there like this. So there she is. This was written some time ago. We'll get a bigger picture of her. This is a remarkable spirit, a soul. And what she has written here will absolutely, again, mesmerize you. I'm trying to get it to where we can get a little bit better. So let's just read this as he gets up there. Let's go back here. There we go. Lana Cantrell was born in Salzburg, Austria, and now lives in the suburb of the Twin Cities with her parents and a Cocker Spaniel, Scarlet. This is her second book. Her first was written when she was a senior in high school, of which she was nominated into the literary section of the Cowboy Hall of Fame. Way to go, gal. This endeavor is her doctorate for college credit. She is a member of the American Association of the Advancement of Science, American Institute of Biological Sciences, American Holistic Medical Foundation, the Paleontology Association, and Ancient Astronaut Society. This is a pretty cool read. It's long, but you really should have it. I have it. Just ask and I'll send you the PDF. It's fascinating. I think we all can agree that something happened. Now, you know, religion has its point of views, science has its point of views, and then there's the other point of view. We all have our own point of view, but I find that when people connect in these type of information downloads, that I marvel what awaits for us. There is something out there that is so beautiful, so beyond comprehension. It's not a religion. It's not a God. It's something that is above all that. I still say that man is so limited in our perspective of what we see the divine as. You know, I've read a lot of different books, and I still say that they all fail in delivering for us what they have. So if you want this, check it out. Yeah, it's over 1,000 pages, but hey, what else do you have but time? That's all you got. Now, this is going to be fun because we get the opportunity, you know, there's many of you like myself. I mean, we data store everything. I've got, you know, storage disk and what have you in secure locations. You know, it's information. And why? It's because we want to keep it. Some of it is not out there, at least not in the content it was when we originally got it. So I'm just reading some more it's like dropping into the chat room. It's like, you know, you're opening up in a door into this arena going, oh, okay. Well, how's the vibes in here today? By the way, seriously, how is the energy level in the chat room? I hope it's at a good, happy level. All we need is love. Everybody now. Can we get a little bit of a chorus going? All right, we get the front section going first. David Barry says it's all good. When Trina says great vibe, then it's A-okay, folks. I love it. I love it. I love it. So 2025 is coming up, right? We know by Deagle.com in America, they're saying 237 million Americans are going to be disappearing, not around. That's a lot of people. And, you know, I don't know, you know, where they got that at. It's still, you know, I left the link and you can go Deagle.com, DEAGLE.com, and check out the other countries. There are some other countries that apparently are going to get a haircut too, but why, I don't know. And it got me to thinking, you know, a couple of years ago, I did this whole thing on a document that came supposedly from NASA. Now, it's an interesting document because I've had this document for 5+ years now. And something, you know, tickled my fancy. Yeah, anyway. Can I tickle y'all's fancy? What is your fancy? That's the question. Yeah, write me an email. Tell me, what is your fancy? Anyway, let's all calm down. All right, have to have some tea on that one. But that is, I mean, what is, you ever heard that idiom? Well, that just tickles my fancy. I've seen Al's comments in there. All right. So I got this, you know, this thing that said, go and check this out. So we'll just do this. I can't get into all of it, unfortunately, because we didn't got enough time. So it's in my playlist in one of them. This is the document that came out, and I believe it was 2001. Let me look at this. We can check out the document here. Give me a second as he's, yeah, that's what I thought. In July of 2001. And this is the Future Strategic Issues, Future Warfare, circa 2025. Now, in this document, it's 114 slides, so we don't have enough time. But it is interesting, excuse me, when you begin to look at this. Now, this was discussed in the early days of the internet, you know, bots, Borgs, and humans. What was the projecting of what we're going to look like? These are all the agencies that contributed to this. And as you can see, the presentation was designed for cognitive incitement of thought, discussion, based in all cases upon existing data, trends, analysis, technologies. No pixie dust. No unicorns. No Paisley. Far out, man. No, none of that. Provides in some cases a somewhat broader view of perspective of developments and issues. You can see the inputs of who was here. They get into all of these different agencies as to what they project is going on. Now, many of you know that our government, the policymakers, are really the think tanks. They're the ones that write the laws. They're the ones who actually write policy. Most people don't know that. And this is one of those documents that when you go through it, the first time I read it, I said, well, isn't that special? Now we're getting to the close due date. This one I thought was really interesting. There is this concept that Earth is a ship, a literal spaceship. Our concepts of spaceship are so limited. But anyway, I digress. So they're taking the metaphor here, right? Earth's a ship, a spaceship. And this is what the crew has done. They're plundering the ship's supplies. They're tinkering with the temperature and life support controls. They're still looking for the instruction manual, engaging in bloody skirmishes in every corner of the vessel, increasing the size of the crew by 2 million per week. Now, again, this was July 2001. Humans have taken over and vastly shortened the evolution of the planet. Global warming, pollution, deforestation, huge public works like the Three Gorges Dam. Listen, do you know that dam literally is imprinting itself upon the mantle of the earth, pushing it in? Yeah. On the human species, genomic design and repair, mind children, Moravec, product life forms, cross-species molecule breeding, direct evolution. This ain't looking good, is it, children? Currently, and it's so odd when you go through this, you're going, okay, what is going, is this connected, by the way, conspiracy? Let's really get into it. Is this the result of the military industrial machine and their experiments with Project, and let me get this, Aquarius? I mean, something's going on. Someone had got a view of something. I mean, someone was looking down someone's blouse and going, oh my goodness, but yeah, think about this. And so as we get into this document, and if you want it, let me tell you, it tells you where the nanotechnology, now this is a decade ago, nearly. Where do you think they are? Technological ages of humankind. Isn't this interesting? Hunter-killer groups, about 1 million to 10,000 years ago. Agriculture, 10,000 to 1800 AD. Industrial, the Industrial Revolution, 1800 to 1950. The information technology age from the 1950 to 2020. The bio-nano age, which they're saying is here now. No one knows where that's going to go. And more importantly, it was seen a decade ago what VR would be, virtual reality machines. Now, think about a machine that waits for you to eventually integrate with you. Once it does, it creates a virtual reality only for you. Wonder how addictive that will become. Hunter-gatherers were nature provided. Agriculture was controlled nature, plants, animals. Industrial was mechanicalized agriculture. The IT bio nano is automating industry and agriculture. I'm going to talk about this tonight on the Steiger Perspective. Virtual robotization of IT, bio, nano, industry, and agriculture. Can I get an amen? Because this is what's happening, folks. Keep your amen. I don't need them. All right. Key future technologies, all highly synergistic at the frontiers of the small in a feeding frenzy off of each other. It goes into the IT, silicon, bio, optical, quantum, nano computing, no end in sight, another 10 to the 6th power plus, virtual reality, holographic, immersive, ambiguous communications, hyperspectral sensors. This is very key, these hyperspectral sensors. They're now showing up in the ghost hunting. Virtual presence, automatic robotic everything, huge cost reductions. Folks, we're living this today. Literally living this today. Let's take on the bio. Lifespan doubling. I talked about this last weekend on the Steiger Perspective, by the way, and I've spoken about it here. If you've got the money now, and I think the going rate is about 5 million, they can extend your life. Genetic engineering before birth. We know where this is at today. Plants, irrigated by seawater, food, petrochemical feedstocks, minerals, terraforming. Terraforming for what? I did a video on this. Is Earth being terraformed? You ought to go back and watch it. Nano, carbon nanotubes, 6 times 100 stronger to weight than steel. Graphene is the new arena. Assemblers, living factories. Hello, China. Huge cost reductions. You can see where it's going. They predicted a worldwide IT revolution. Communications, computing, sensors, and electronics. They get into where this is going beyond human AI. We're there now. Automatic robots in large sectors. We're there now. I'm going to do a story tonight. It's frightening, the implication of this. The robotic industry and the sex industry have combined and now have an AI program that humans cannot distinguish. Robotic lovers, marriages, relationships are on the rise. Those that actually are now immersed into that say that the relationships are far more fulfilling than humans. Does that give you a little pause for cause? Should. Immersive, multi-sensoring, virtual reality, ambiguous, again, multi-physics, hyperspectral sensors. This is, and so much of this, when you look at this, they saw this coming, a decade ago. Telecommunicating, teleshopping, teleentertainment, teletravel, teleeducation, telemedicine, telecommerce, telepolitics, telesocialization. We know as now as online, apps, but this is still what it is. It goes in some predictions. Quantum computing initially available in 5 years. Boom, spot on. 15% of all power today is used by computers. Will reach 60% by 2010. We far exceeded that. In fact, if you look at how much electricity power is actually consumed by computers, if we took that out of the equation, we would be literally at a zero carbon level on today's EPA standards if you look at this. This one I found very interesting. Wearable implantable electronics, communications, sensors, health monitoring, brain stimulation, sensory augmentation. It's here. I mean, folks, you should get this, and it's one that you should study, because they got this one so freaking right. AI and beyond computing. Look at this. This was, again, written in July, presented in July of 2001. Human brain characteristics and capabilities. 100 billion neurons, 100 trillion connections, 200 calculations per second. That's a slow speed of the neural circuitry. 20 million billion calculations per second is what the computer can do. Excellent at parallel computing, pattern recognition, poor at sequential thinking, operates via random tries. That's us. What does the machine do? Currently, 100 billion calculations per second, and that has now been exceeded. They're into the petabytes per second. This they completely blew through. By 2010, 20 million billion is available. By 2025 on a PC. The PC is eventually going to be going away. Once the brain implants are done, the new sets of the Google glasses that we saw 10 years ago that were being, beta tested on the public, yeah, it's coming. Let's see, by 2030, PC has collective computing power of the town full of human minds. We've exceeded that and way beyond. This is the brain project, a human brain project. There's a separate document I have on this. Actually it's there. It's quite interesting. Began in the early 90s, funded by 16 organizations across 5 agencies, aka the neuroinformatics, intersections of neuroscience and informatics, exploding field, 10,000 individual presentations at annual meeting of the Society for Neuroscience. They've taken this, as we know. We are now past the alphas. We're strongly into betas now of the brain implants. And there are lots and lots and lots of people waiting for an upgrade. It goes on to talk about the imagination engine, aka creative machine, aka creative agent. You see, they were already planning this, a decade ago, 2 decades ago. Well, yeah, 20 years ago. Current AI, best bet, not a rule-based expert system, generates new ideas, concepts via starving a trained neural net of meaningful inputs, forcing it to dream, cavigate, create new concepts, an attendant neural net used to capture, record, evaluate, and report on these writings. When you look at Hollywood, the music industry, the songs are being written by AI. It's, in fact, because of AI now, they can bring dead actors back. Studios love it. There's a real debate on that, how ethical that is. But anyway, it is a thorough document across the board. Hold on one second. Dancer is saying, hey, this stuff's getting freaky. Anyway, I'll check this out. Read it for yourself. It reads almost like a manual of someone who traveled in time. And it's pretty interesting because as the rest of the story goes, we're seeing this play out. And like I said, it was 114 slides, and we don't have 114 minutes. Well, you have to almost spend 5 minutes so you can see how long that'll go. But anyway, let's see what's going on. The powers that be are 50 to 100 years ahead of us. They gave us just enough to keep going. Robert V., I happen to think you are right. And if you get this document, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. Be curious to see, those of you who've never seen it, go through it and give me your assessment of it. It's very clear that someone got a peek behind the curtains. That's all I got to say. They is too close on this. That's like, yeah. Now imagine that you invested according to this document. How wealthy do you think you would be? You're right. You'd be really rich. And it wouldn't surprise me if you were to go back 20 years and maybe get the attendees list that actually was in there, the corporations, the NGOs, those are non-government organizations, the other government agencies that were in there. What do you think they walked out with? Truth in me. We'll have to watch this later. Well, you are. Well, thank you, Truth in me. Listen, I'm just trying to present to you. The great thing about this platform, this medium that you and I share with, we don't have to make crap up. We really don't. You just go back and look at this stuff and you go, now, and then follow the money. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I could probably make a prediction or say my opinion. I bet you there's more than just one millionaire that walked out of that group. Oh, yeah. And imagine if you were a tech company. Yeah. You know, that's why major corporations have seers. Yes, they do employ those with occult abilities. Did you know that? Our government does. Wall Street does. The Federal Reserve does. Actually have seers, remote viewers, witches. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. That's why they call it the hidden knowledge. Well, they're probably jacking with us, Truth in me. It's like, oh man, they ain't supposed to be hearing this. We thought we got rid of that. And I know those others probably have it in your files, those of you who are familiar with the document. But yeah, it's crazy. Well, far out. It's a great day. I'm going to cut this one a little bit early. I do the second show tonight. And I'm not sure if Brian's doing a show. If you get a chance, check out Brian over at Milky Way Messenger. He's got the call-in feature going. I think that may be something to look at. I want to get him on, and we'll get a chance I'll visit there with him too. Mary says, I ain't their slave. Well, keep the faith. That's what we all say. Yeah, it's like, I ain't buying into this. Neither am I. It's like, I'm free. And we are. There are more free thinkers here. Occasionally we have, the bumps in the roads, but we just love them. We just speak favor over them. And you're welcome, Susie Q. Think agape love. We are the Rainbow Warriors. You got that right. Unconditional love. And that's what it means. Unconditional. Right up here, I know you guys can't see it. It's over there on the wall, but it's 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. And anyone that will read that, you take that. It's an incredible definition of what unconditional love is. Love never fails. Love holds up under everything that comes its ways. It always sees the best of every person. It is not vainglorious, is not haughty, does not display itself, in ignorance. It's not jealous. It doesn't covet. Read it. It's a phenomenal statement. And if you put favor in there for love, it works just as well too. So we never take an account of a suffered wrong. Folks, this is truth. And some people, I don't want to hear it. Well, listen, it's true. If you never take in an accounted wrong that's been done towards you, they'll never get you up here. And you have such love and empathy. That's what heals. So anyway, there we go. Well, thank you, Dana. I appreciate that. So yeah. Multi-level marketing. Great, Scott. Now that's cool. Actually, that's a kind of a great way to do it. I love it. Can you imagine we start spreading love and favor through the multi-marketing model? I love that. The first 6 people that get in, we give them the keys to begin to really become love masters, favor invokers. And they go and they get 6 more and they pass that on. And the next thing you go, we've got a revolution going on here. The next thing you know, Ellen will be talking about it. Hey, Kaz, how you doing? Well, I love you folks. Y'all are just so cool. And thanks for keeping me young and hot. If you gotta. Yeah, I know. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to be bringing Big Al on, and if anyone would like to join, email me. I'll put you on, and I think tomorrow we'll just kind of have a roundtable discussion. Trina, if you're feeling up to it, Kaz, anyone, if y'all want to come on, have a little round robin discussion. I think it'd be good. We haven't had one of those in a while. All right, folks. Later. Hey, Nina the Mystic. Peace, lady. I appreciate you. Chloe, far out. Woohoo, Al. Yeah, Big Al. Big Al's in the room. David Barry ought to get you on that. Next Wednesday, I'm having Karen, Queen of Quartz, on. So looking forward to that. So anyway, folks, there you go. That's all I got. Got no more. Yeah, I got lots more, but I'll save it. All right. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.